Welcome to Living the Faith, your multimedia Catholic magazine for the coffee table of your mind.
Jessie Romero is our guest today, and he's a retired Los Angeles County Sheriff's Deputy, and perhaps one of the few who holds a master's degree in Catholic theology.
I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. Just humor me and say Jesus is Lord. So this serial killer, Satanist, future death row inmate, he said, no problem. So he began earnestly trying to say Jesus is Lord. And as I'm looking at him, I said, okay, I wouldn't say it. Because in the back of my mind, I'm saying, the Bible's wrong. There's anybody on planet Earth can say it. I was trying to disprove the Bible.
Oh, wow.
I was a 21-year-old liberal modernist Catholic saying, that's BS. Everybody can say Jesus is Lord. What I just heard at Mass, that's not true. So I'm there completely as a blaspheming skeptic trying to disprove God's word. And so I'm looking at him. Go ahead. Say Jesus is Lord. As he tried to say Jesus is Lord, because, man, this guy wanted to eat a good meal before he went off the death row. As he was trying to say Jesus is Lord, I'm looking at him, and I thought that he's messing with me. His mouth was shut closed, like if he had duct tape around, but he's trying to grunt something. He's trying to speak. It's like he had cement in his mouth. He was physically trying to speak those sacred words, and all he could do was grunt and growl. I'm looking at him. He turned as red as an apple. Then he started holding his neck as if something's choking him. And then his countenance became very angry and ugly as he forcefully, grunted. He was trying to say these words that I asked him to. And I remember I'm with two other young rookie cops with me, and they're looking as well. I felt the cold chill like an ice cube go down my back. And I felt the entire temperature drop like a refrigerator just in the hallway of the jail there. And one of the other officers told me, whoa, it's cold in here. We felt like a cold breeze came from his jail cell that seemed to cover us. I remember I walked backwards and from his jail cell, and I said, whoa, I was startled. I wasn't sure if he was messing with me. And I said, man, maybe the Bible is true. Because I just witnessed a satanic mass murderer who was physically unable to say Jesus is Lord. And so I continue with the two other officers walking down the hallway doing our cell check to see how many inmates we're going to feed. And about 3 cells over, Richard Ramirez, you probably remember him. He was called the Night Stalker. He haunted Southern California by he killed a bunch of women, but I think he was only convicted of 13 women, but he admitted to killing like 30 women. And I said, I'm going to ask him the same thing. So I talked to Rich Ramirez, the Night Stalker, and I asked him, hey, you wanted some good officer food? I said, can you say the words Jesus is Lord? He goes, no problem. He goes, that's all I got to do. And you're going to go get me an officer's meal? I said, absolutely. Ramirez, absolutely. Again, he didn't see the other inmate because they're all in single solitary cells, and you close the door with a steel door, so there's no contact with each other. So the Night Stalker tries to say Jesus is Lord, and I'm looking at him again. He started clutching his neck again as he's trying to say Jesus, and he's gurgling. And he's trying, it's says as if something is preventing him, was choking him as he's attempting to say these words that I asked him to say, Jesus is Lord. He collapsed to one knee. I could see that he's in pain. Now, the two other officers that are with me, they're saying, hey, Romero, this is this is creepy, man. Knock it off, dude. Knock it off. So I closed the steel vault. Whoa. Started walking down the hall. About 4 cells over, there was another satanic serial killer. I said, these two guys are messing with me. They're just messing with me. I don't know. They must have talked or something. And it's impossible. They can't talk. So I asked a third serial killer to say if he could say Jesus is Lord. And he wanted the same thing. You'll go get me some officer dining food? I said, absolutely, I'll give it to you. That's all you do. All you have to say is Jesus is Lord. And trust me, I'm going to hook you up with a Thanksgiving meal. Same thing happened with this satanic serial killer. He could not physically say the words Jesus is Lord. I'm 21 years old. I'm a young liberal modernist kumbaya Catholic. But I could feel, first of all, these guys weren't faking it. These guys were being choked by something as they attempted to say Jesus is Lord. The section of the jail where I was at, we regulated the temperatures. It fell like 40 degrees. And my other officer, young rookie, he went to go check. He goes, dude, what happened? He goes, the temperature's just fallen like 40 degrees. It was cold in there as I'm doing this and asking these guys to say this. And so what's the point that I'm making? At that moment, I felt convicted in my heart. I said, I kind of walked to the corner, the section of the jail, and I said, Lord, I am so sorry for questioning your word. And I remember I got on the phone and I called up my mom and dad because they're the ones that always told me. They're saying, the Bible's true, the Bible's true. Very simple Hispanics. I said, Mom, Dad, here's what happened. And I told them, and my mom and dad told me, you didn't have to do that. That was very dangerous what you did. But I'm glad you know now that the Bible is true, like we've been telling you all our life.
So, about Satan, in your work as a policeman, did you see a lot of his work?
Absolutely. Here's the way. Now I see, as I can see the big picture now as I step back and look back at my career. I could see two things now, understanding theology as I do now, is that you have two types of evils out there. You have primary evil and you have secondary evil. Primary evil are demons, fallen angels. We can't see them, but we admit that they exist. Every time we say the Nicene Creed at Holy Mass, we say that God the Father is creator of both everything that's visible and invisible. Mm-hmm. He's the creator of angels. And some of these angels, a third of them fell, they're now called demons. Well, what these angels do, since they are of such a superior intellect to the human person, I mean, I was told by an exorcist one day, he says, the smartest guy on planet Earth, let somebody, just so we won't argue, Albert Einstein, maybe the highest IQ on planet Earth, he said, the lowest, most inferior angel in hell is about 1 million times smarter than Albert Einstein. They're not bound by a physical body, so they don't get sleepy, they don't get tired, they don't get hungry or thirsty, they don't have bad moods and stuff, they're not guided by their passions. And so these demons, what they do is they look at human beings, us as inferior species, which we are, and what they do is they afflict human beings to get human beings to commit evil.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Living the Faith, your multimedia Catholic magazine for the coffee table of your mind. Produced and hosted by Ed Horodko. livingthefaith.website. I'm your announcer, Lawrence Vosper.